speaking. Should we mute?
Hi guys, welcome to the Productive Wellbeing Show with me, your host Abigail for episode 12. I am so excited today to be joined by 5 amazing guests for our first ever Productive Wellbeing Show panel. Now, as I've said on some social platforms, this is our first, so it's going to be amazing, but bear with us because I don't know if you've watched any other people's shows and things, but tech is just going crazy at the moment. So fingers crossed it all goes well for us today. So as you're joining the show, let us know where you're joining from. And if you've got any questions, put them in the comments. We'll try to see them and try to respond. And if you're joining on replay, say replay. If you're joining live, say live. What else do I need to tell you? I'm just so excited to have these awesome people. Right, let me introduce them all. Okay, so starting at the top, we've got the amazing Beth Arzy. Beth is an EA and a speaker. She's an EA at Channel 4. She's been there for over 8 years. An interesting fact about Beth, she's also got a side hustle and she is a singer. So if you Google Beth Arzy, you're going to come up with an amazing singer. So that's Beth. Next, we have got Kaye. Kaye Freeman is a speaker, agent and manager. She usually spends her time booking her guests through Andromeda Talent around the world. But right now is, in the crisis and kind of grounded with the rest of us. So it's so awesome to have Kaye on and talking about how we can remain productive and sane during these times. Then across the bottom, we've got Daniella Glasgow. Now, Daniella is a transition coach with over 12 years experience of working with people in crisis. Daniella is also a TEDx speaker as well. Then in the middle, we have David Speed. David Speed is a professional graffiti artist in one of his businesses. And they do this graffiti internationally. So if you Google him and his business, Creative Life, Graffiti Life, you will find their work all over the internet. And they also have an amazing podcast called Creative Rebels, which is currently on about 1,000 downloads a day. So definitely check that out. And then our final guest on today's panel is the awesome and phenomenal Lucy Brazier. Now, Lucy Brazier flies around the world speaking to executives and last year did 42 events around the world and is in also a massive transition with their business and supporting their clients and how to do it. She's also a publisher of a magazine called Executive Secretary. Now, each of these guests on the show is phenomenal in their own right. So I would highly recommend that you go off, connect with them on LinkedIn and DM them, follow up with conversations as this conversation goes on. So thank you guys for being here today.
Thanks for inviting us.
Thanks, Abigail.
Thank you very much.
How we're going to roll with this show is we literally are just going to have 2 questions and then we're just going to see how it goes. So these 2 questions, the first question then, each on the panel is going to answer the question and then we'll go into the next one and we'll answer your questions as well. So the first question is, and this is going to Lucy Brazier. Lucy, how are you remaining productive and sane during this crisis? And then if the rest of us all go on mute while Lucy answers this.
I think probably for us, we have been doing this for a very long time. So I launched my magazine, 9 years ago now. And ever since then, I have worked from home. And it has been a really steep learning curve. But I think I understood right from the beginning that it was about communication. In the beginning, it was just me. And so I was reaching out to people and talking to them on the phone back then, because we didn't have Skype or Zoom or anything like that, but keeping myself sane by continuing to communicate. And as we've grown as a team, I took on Matthew, who is my EA. We talk every day, at least once. We have a team WhatsApp group so that we can all talk to each other. I have now my lady who looks after subscriptions, Jenny Churcher, and my lady who is in charge of editorial, Kathleen Drum. So we are all working together during this crisis, I think, to make sure, if anything, we're communicating even more and keeping the conversation going. The other thing that I would say is there was a great American show featuring a guy called Mr. Rogers, and he always used to say, look for the helpers. And I feel that from the beginning of this crisis, for us, we sat down and decided that it had to be about authenticity, and that rather than continuing to try and sell or broadcast messages to sell product, what we were going to do is to become the helpers. So to that end, we have been reaching out with all sorts of stuff. Sometimes it's to make our community laugh, sometimes it's to make them cry, sometimes it's just to get them to question. Lots of really useful articles. I think the thing with executive assistants is that, right now I'm seeing quite a lot of them online saying, what can we do? Our executives are so busy, and I'm not quite sure what I should be picking up and doing, and I'm finding I have a lot of time on my hands. I think it's particularly important for business leaders to understand, and I know you do actually, that the assistants are phenomenal at bringing order to chaos and looking at bringing process and procedure and all that detailed stuff that as executives drives us totally mad to the party. So where you have an assistant, I know that you're trying to save the world and your businesses and look at the bigger picture, but the great way that you can use your assistants is to just think through and have a conversation with them, even if it's just for 10 minutes a day, to look at where they can be bringing order to the chaos in the background whilst you're getting on with the bigger picture stuff. And finally, what I would say really is that, we are in a situation where it is all about community. So yes, I'm talking to my team every day, but we have also gone out there and pulled together a group for our speaker community so that they can all talk to each other, because they are all decimated at the moment and not getting any work. And so they are training each other, one person a week. And I know Abigail's attended a couple of those. They're really useful. We're doing exactly the same for associations across the world. The World Administrators Summit, which I'm part of, the board of, have pulled together a lot of the associations to do something very similar. And then finally, Dinah Liversidge, who is an amazing speaker in her own right, has started something on Twitter, which is called The Breakfast Club, which is #The Breakfast Club. And every morning, just for an hour, it's an hour of really positive conversation and people just reassuring each other. And I think that helps too. So if that's of some use, I'll hand it over to somebody else.
Awesome. No, that's really brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. Guys, as you're joining, let us know where you're joining from. And as the speakers are going through, you have any questions, put them in the questions, because I can see you all. We've got Kathleen Drum, we've got Dinah, we've got Anne Kersley, we've got Sarah Patterson. Hey guys, so nice to have you. And the rest of you, let us know where you're joining us in from. So next, David, I would love to ask you, as your business, again, is sort of in person with the graffiti, but then with the podcast, how are you kind of doing things and working it all out? It'd be so awesome to hear that.
Yes, so I've been running a graffiti company for the past 10 years. Started off just 3 artists. We've now grown to a team of 10, and we use a lot of freelancers as well. So when this all sort of hit, our main kind of concern was looking after our staff, supporting our freelancers, and how we could do that. So we basically just went into survival mode, into hustle mode, and just started emailing every single client and just being creative. So what we do is we paint walls outside. Typically, we do a lot of offices, and kind of murals inside as well, but the majority of our work is going to be in person. We're going to be in public. So all of a sudden that's taken away from us. So we decided, well, what can we do from our kitchen table? We can still be creative. So we've started putting together pitches that we've sent out to a bunch of different previous clients. Basically, we contacted every single person that we've ever worked with before and just said, here's some ideas, here's some cool things that we can do. So we're in talks with a few of our previous clients to basically be productive from our kitchen tables, produce artwork for them with whatever we have around us, be that coffee, be that old house paint, felt pens, or luckily I'm in the position where I've got canvases and spray paint, so I can paint onto those. But so we're still creating as much artwork as possible. And the podcast for us really was a creative outlet where myself and one of my business partners used it as a method to get people to find out about our businesses and the different things that we do, but at the same time to help people that are wanting to do something creative for a job. Because when we first started our business, there were really no podcasts, there was no sort of online help that we could really find. So we basically made the podcast for us 10 years ago, and we've interviewed some incredible guests, people like Emma Gannon, Reggie Yates, Marie Forleo, just lots of really, really inspiring people. And through doing that, it has turned itself into a business a little bit by accident, because it was really just sort of a PR tool for people to do something that we're really passionate about, which is helping artists and creatives, and B, to sort of let people know what we do. And then sort of at the end of that funnel, you might get some sales. But it became a lot more than that. And we started getting bookings for speaking gigs and things like that. So because we realized that we've got a team to support, we're stuck at home, the one thing that we can really scale up is production of our content. So the podcast went from being sort of like a little side fun thing to, okay, let's divert resources into this. And so we've just been commissioned by Adobe to do 8 podcasts for them that are going to go out on their channels. And so it's, I think, rather than seeing this as, I mean, obviously this is like, we're all in the same situation. I think that's one of the good things about it, is that it's completely a level playing field. Like, everyone is suffering, everyone's business for the most part has taken a hit on this. So it's as Lucy was mentioning, really coming together, really connecting. I feel closer to our team than I have in 10 years, because we now have a thread where everyone posts up what they've done during the day. We never do that at work. We never go, oh, I did this today. But now all of a sudden everyone knows what everyone else is doing, which has been really great. I mean, when was the last time you just spoke to your friends frequently? This is all happening now. So although there is a lot of clouds, there are also a lot of silver linings. So I think that optimism is a decision. So we are trying to remain positive. My sister died from swine flu when that was a thing a few years back. So I know the very real kind of human consequences of this, and there's no taking away from that. And you can't just slap a smile on it. So I've been kind of balanced between realizing this is a pandemic, this is pretty serious, but at the same time, remaining positive. There's things that we can do. Although we're socially distanced, we can be more connected than ever. And I think that's such a positive thing. So that's how I've been kind of dealing with it, sitting with, this is a thing that's happening, but also saying how, because I'll go out of my mind if I can't be creative. I have to be making work. I have to be painting. Otherwise it'll be all over. So I've had to keep that going. So I've just been reminding myself, stay creative.
So awesome. And guys, at the end of this, all of these guys are going to tell you how and where is the best platform to follow them on, to look up their stuff. If each of the speakers has sort of said something that's triggered you, because already I'm thinking, where can I see David's work every day? Thank you for letting us know where you're joining from. This is so awesome. We've got Graham Roberts from Surrey, Jenny Churcher from Kent, Lisa Richards from Shropshire, Matt Want from West Sussex, and we've got Karima Akil from Bavaria. So we're getting around the world, guys. As you're joining, let us know where you're coming from, and any questions, put them in the comments. So next, we are going to hear from Kaye Freeman. Kaye, how is it going in the world of talent management and speaker booking?
Wow. Well, and funny enough, David said it really well. I deal in people, and I deal in putting people on a stage in front of other people to do something, whether that's to speak, to host, to be funny, to sign autographs or whatever. That is my job. And probably a good week before anybody else, my business stopped. And I've been incredibly lucky, actually, that all but one event has postponed as opposed to cancelled. So it could be that normally kind of August is very laid back. It could be that I have the busiest August in the world. But you know what? I took about 10 days to, I think probably the best way is to both grieve for the fact of what was happening, the new normal, as it's so irritatingly called. But then I kind of, as David said, you have to kind of go, right, okay, what needs doing? How do we innovate? How do we, I had said, in fact, I'd said to Abigail in January, I just need everything to stop. I know what I need to do, but I don't have the time. Well, turns out I've got the time now.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, and I know this is a situation for a lot of people. I'm a working parent and I'm the primary carer. I'm a working mum. I work from home 80% of the time anyway. So I have a beautiful IKEA desk. I have my lovely notepads and everything like that. We have super fast broadband because my husband also works from home. But I've suddenly been thrown into the role of homeschooling parent, which is frankly makes me want to go and pay teachers £1 million a day immediately. And but yeah, the innovation stuff is really interesting. And one of the things that's really landed with me was what I wanted to do with kind of the brand of my business generally. And that means at the moment online. So like all this stuff I want to do, post brilliant videos that clients had been making or had sent me or I thought were fabulous. Like I'm getting to do that every single day. I'm getting to put something out across the channels on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and genuinely kind of say to the world, I'm not selling to you, but look at this fantastic person. Oh yeah, I work with them. And that's what I love about my job is it's about championing the talent. And I'm very clear that this is going to make me ready when the world starts turning again. And whatever it looks like, then people will be engaged and connected and joyful about the people I work with and want to work with them. I mean, the fact that they'll want to work with me as well is by the by.
I'd just like to also say congratulations on your new role as homeschooling mum, because all jokes aside, in some cases, and this is why you're a great guest to have on, you overnight your business changed and you also got a new job. And this happened in many, many houses, and some people lost their jobs and some people, working out how to, so much has gone on and each of you has got sort of a different story. We could talk for hours to each of you about all of this, but I think it goes without saying, and guys, when you're watching this back on the replay, really take away some of the other messages that these guys are saying is like, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to be working it out. I mean, it's okay to want to express yourself creatively and not really have access to your usual high spec tools, to just try to do something on a phone or try to make something with a pen that doesn't really work. Like,
done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. And more than ever, people are after authenticity, creativity. I work a lot with the arts. I talent manage a few actors across lots of different disciplines. And one of the things I keep sharing is, what are we all doing? We're all sitting at home, listening to podcasts, watching Netflix. Think about the people that make that. And never, ever say the arts and creativity isn't important again. Of course, I will support our NHS and our health system and our education system as top priority. But we see the arts and the humanity and creativity. This is actually when you get to really go, oh, actually, that's the place. It's about connection. and inspiration and motivation and beauty in a world where it's really hard to find that.
Well, we'll all be downloading Creative Rebels podcast after this just to get some creative inspiration. Right. Let's move on to you, Beth. What's going on in your world, in the executive assistant world? How are you finding it? How are you finding working from home, sharing your space with your partner? What's going on?
It's mainly sharing my space with two 18-year-old cats, one 8-year-old cat and a 16-year-old dog. That's getting interesting. I'm in the fortunate position of receiving great information. Like Kate was saying, there are so many people that are putting out there. Like Lucy and the assistant networks have been amazing. They've gone to free online webinars for us, sessions, helping us upskill. And you can sit there and say, like, I'm learning a language, I'm upskilling, blah 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 blah. But it's kind of what's right for you. There is no right way and wrong way right now. It's finding your way, which I think a lot of people, including myself, have found really difficult, because my inner Totoro wants to be sitting on the couch eating Doritos and watching Netflix. I could sit there from sun up to sundown watching Ash versus the Evil Dead and eating Doritos, but that's not going to do me any good, and I know that. And pretty much straight away, I realized I needed to regiment myself. And a lot of guests you've had on, Abigail, a lot of speakers have said, you need to make a schedule now. You need to be regimented. And I thought, oh, mate, this is going to be like being in the army. And it is a bit, but I feel like I'm benefiting from it, because if I let myself sloth out, then I will. And there's no going back. It's Jabba the Hutt all the way. So I'm making myself get up early like I was going to work, stay put together, because, if on a desert island, like I won't shave, I won't bathe, I'm going to go feral. So I have to stay put together, don't go feral, shave your legs, put makeup on, put deodorant on. And I have to this is my mantra, stay put together, otherwise I'll fall apart. I'm making myself meditate twice a day, get on the exercise bike while I'm listening to a podcast, work. I'm trying to learn German. It's in my daily regiment, but I've only done it twice. So it's like, if I don't hit all my goals, I don't beat myself up. I go, okay, tomorrow I'll do German. Today I'll do the exercise bike. Tomorrow I'll do my German lesson, and just give myself goals. I don't hit them every day, but I don't beat myself up. I just go, okay, that's something to do tomorrow. And, I'm not saying I'm doing it right and you're doing it wrong. It's finding your own balance and what works for you. I find that at 7:00, when I have my dinner, no screen time, and I sit down to watch the news, that's when I feel that panic setting in. If I'm keeping busy, then I'm fine. And, like I said, there's so many great speakers and assistant associations that are out there willing to help, and that are saying, look, try this might help, try that might help. And without those outlets, I think, I don't know what I'd do. But yeah, that's helped me put together kind of a daily schedule and not be too hard on myself. I'm doing things that I wouldn't normally do, like, soaking in a bath and putting foot cream on, and just weird rituals that I've adopted to try and keep myself sane right now. The meditating helps to kind of just try and find that calm place. You had a really great guest, was it yesterday, that was talking about meditation and how it sounds hippy dippy, but it does help, especially when my monkey brain is going crazy. I'll get a song stuck in my head if I'm nervous or if something's not going right, and it'll just go over and over and over. That chatter is just driving me crazy. So I have to just kind of slow down, stop, meditate, learn a new language. I'm actually transitioning. It's my last week at Channel 4 after 8 years. Sad, which is strange because I won't be able to say goodbye to anybody. All my stuff's still at work, my favorite coffee cups. And I'm going to a new EA role, which is exciting, but it would be more exciting if I could see people face to face and shake some hands and, say hello and get help. And but like I said, at 7:00, when you turn on the news, then it puts things into perspective. It's sad that I can't have a leaving do, but it's also sad that there are, millions of people in India that are stuck, that don't have any safe place to go to. We can't complain that, we're imprisoned, we're stuck in our homes, I'm isolated, blah, blah, blah. Shut up. This is your safe haven. This is a protection. This roof is not a prison. It's your safety. You know, when you think of all those people that don't have a roof over their head, that are stuck with thousands of others that can't social distance, it makes me want to slap people. So, you know, you have to, at the end of the day, be grateful. And I think gratitude is really important right now, that, you know, we are isolated and we are this and we are that, but we're also, most of us are safe. So we have to be grateful for that, and be grateful for all the people who are doing so much great work, like the NHS. I mean, I've got a friend in Glasgow who he's volunteered himself to take groceries and medical supplies and medicine to all the local people that are you know, unable to actually get out of their house, older people, disabled people, and he's just busy 24 hours a day. He's got a small child to look after, and I have so many friends that are out there doing great things like that, so I'm grateful to them as well. So yeah, I'm not going to complain.
Amazing. The comments coming in while you're speaking are cracking me up as well.
Are they going, shut up, Beth?
No, brilliant. Lucy said, Lucy Anutu, sorry, I can't pronounce your surname.
Oh my God, that's Lucy Antonou. She works at Channel 4.
She said, I knew you'd get a Star Wars reference in. So,
oh, you cheeky.
It clearly went over my head. I don't know particularly what that was, but yeah. And Diana Brandel says, congrats on your new role, Beth. You will rock.
Thank you, Diana. Diana is one of those amazing people that I was mentioning. She's a coach and a speaker, and I've seen her speak at a couple of conferences, and she's so inspirational. And one of the best tips that I've taken from her is, when I'm going to speak on a panel, or, you know, to people, that I don't have a lot of coffee. Because if you think I'm rambling now, normally I'll have 3 coffees and I'm like, argh! And Diana gets up there and she's like very quiet, and her point comes across, and I'm gesticulating, I'm swearing, I'm chatting. So Diana's taught me to, this is just after 1 cup of tea. So Diana's taught me to dial it down, be calm and breathe. So yeah, lots of great people out there like Diana helping me get through this crazy time.
Amazing. Well, I think it's so important, and thank you so much for sharing that, like, to get perspective on all of this. Yes, it's unprecedented. Yes, it was a shock. Yes, it's not ideal on so many levels, but what have we got? And that gratitude is the biggest thing. Every time I turn the tap on, I almost could cry that water comes out and I can drink it. And that when I get in the shower, I literally am thanking the water that is warm, that I can use it. And it does sound a bit hippy dippy, but I think when and maybe this time is helping us all to sort of slow down and smell the coffee a little bit more, and appreciate the things that are around, that we're so busy. I went for my morning walk and I heard the birds, and I was just like, wow. Because, you know, we'd walk, oh, nice birds, but you're so busy on to the next. What am I going to reply to that email? What have I got to do today? Am I going to get my coffee? Where am I going to get it from? Am I running, the meeting, that la, 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 la. And now I think we're all going to come out of this quite zen. We're either going to come out angry and ready to punch things, or we're going to come out zen. But everybody's on their own journey with this, and everybody will come out as they come out. It's not up to us to dictate that. So thank you so much for sharing that, Beth. Daniella.
Thank you for having me.
Daniella.
Hi.
So talk to us about how to deal with transition and crisis time, because this is sort of your area of expertise. You've, in your 12-year career, gone through many pivots with yourself, with your life, with your clients. Your own journey is almost what you're teaching people now and who you're working with, isn't it?
Absolutely. So I think, you know, from a therapeutic point of view anyway, you know, the whole world is going through trauma. We're all having a traumatic experience, and how we deal with that and come out of that, you know, is going to be individual to each and every one of us, and largely dependent upon our past experiences, but also the circumstances that we're in, because, you know, everybody's in different circumstances. Some people have, you know, literally lost everything. Other people, you know, have been furloughed, and some people, you know, are able to have that space and just relish this moment. So I would just like to take a moment just to acknowledge all of those people, you know, that are on the front line, and right down to the shopkeepers, you know, all the staff, etc., because they're out there every single day risking their lives. So I suppose from where I'm sat, and just some of the conversations that I've had, I guess we are living through unprecedented times at the moment. So it's kind of our usual sort of patterns, way of doing things, our belief systems, everything has been interrupted really on a global scale. So not just externally, but also internally. So I know it's already been touched upon with regards to community and connection, etc., outside of ourselves, but also inside of ourselves. So I think we've also now been presented with an opportunity to, I guess, reflect on what's really important in our lives, or as you mentioned just earlier, Abigail, you were talking about all the distractions, and meeting, I have to go to the coffee, all of these things that I suppose aren't necessary, but we get caught up in that. So I think we've all got the time to now, I suppose, reset and reboot. There's a guy that I follow, Joe Dispenza, who really, I suppose, explains this really well and really succinctly. And just to quote, so he's doing a lot of work at the moment around meditation, but the science also behind that. So he basically says that 95% of who you are by the time you're 35 is a lot of unconscious and automatic habits. So emotional reactions, beliefs, perceptions, and attitudes that have been hardwired and cultivated by us, doing the same things, thinking the same things, emotionally reacting in the same way. And I think he's got a point. So I suppose it's moments like this where we have that opportunity now to think, how we want to go forth and do things differently, because we are going to come out of this as each moment, any crisis, any situation, like the seasons, it always passes. And I know that there's a lot of things that we can't control right now, but it's really important to look at our primary circle of influence and some of the things that we can control. And namely, I think that's largely around character. How we show up daily, how we embrace the situation, how we embrace the solitude. It's also the emotions, it's really important to acknowledge them. We don't always have to feel good, sometimes we might not feel so good, and that's okay. But within this space and this silence, it presents an opportunity to really, I suppose, connect internally with what's going on. Now, there are some tools on the internet, just to elaborate on this. A lot of the times, people might say, "Oh, how are you?" And we say, "I'm fine." "How are you feeling?" "I'm okay." Well, actually, there's a wealth of feeling: frustrated, dissatisfied, angry, envious, all of these things. So it might be an opportunity as well to, I suppose, expand our emotional vocabulary, to really connect in the moment, what we're feeling, connect with it, acknowledge it, and then just let it pass.
And Daniella, what specifically are you doing to sort of try to remain sane and productive? Just give us sort of an insight into your daily activities and things that you're doing. Are you
Okay, so I've been working remotely for quite a while now, so I'm quite used to it. But I know it's already been mentioned, the routine, and I honestly thought I was quite routined or disciplined, but there's something about this situation that has made, I don't know, for me, time just more expansive. So now I've kind of enhanced and added to that. So I definitely, I wake up, first thing I do is meditate. I do transcendental meditation, do that twice a day. And I know your guest that you had on yesterday is doing a free group on a Thursday, daily at 5 o'clock on Facebook. I've also shared a link for Andre Berry. He does his every morning at 11 o'clock, so everybody's free to jump on. And then I also meditate at 6. One of the new things I've introduced, which I would like to share, is the Wim Hof Method. So he uses breath as a way to enhance immunity. It's only a 4-minute exercise, followed by cold showers. Not only does that boost the immune system, it kind of awakens your nervous system, and it really, I suppose, sets you up for the day. As a coach, and I'm sure you know this quite well, Abigail, it's really also important to set that intention for the day. You know, so how do you want to feel? How do you want to show up throughout the day? Because we do have more control over our emotions than what we imagine. And I use that word control loosely because meditation obviously teaches us, you know, it's a feeling, it's a sensation, and you just let it go. So yeah, and obviously connecting with friends. I'm a lifelong learner, so I'm tuning into talk shows like yourself, doing courses, brushing up on skills, and keeping in touch with clients as well.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. So our second question for today's show, and then we'll wrap up with all of these guys again, sort of sharing their one place where you can go find out more about them. And if you've got any questions, guys, put them in the comments. I can see a lot of you are talking about things that you're doing and responding. So these guys are also going to hop on to the comments after this to sort of answer any questions. So if there's anything that's coming up that we don't have time, then you can do that. So the second question then, Daniella, if you just put yourself on mute for a second, and we'll do the second question, and we'll go to Lucy. So Lucy, the second question is, what's one thing that you would recommend for people to do? It can be for business, it can be for life. So what's one thing that you're doing that's really, really helpful?
Okay, so I loved what both Beth and Daniella were saying about getting their schedules together. And what I really found helped me was time boxing, because I read this amazing article in the Harvard Business Review, which I'll put the link up over in LinkedIn when we're done with this. But basically what it says is, yes, you have a to-do list, and you get to the end of your day and you look at your to-do list and you go, oh my word, I haven't done half of that. And then you feel a bit kind of dispirited. Whereas if you time box, you go every day to your calendar and you put in the things that you absolutely have to do today. But I'm also putting in exercise. I'm putting in my breakfast club at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm putting in time to watch an episode of a TV show and eat dinner and a time for lunch and things, so that actually my day has a real structure to it. It doesn't feel like it's running away with me. And when I get to the end of the day and I've actually done the things that I've time boxed, then I feel like I have a feeling of success. And some of that is research as well. You know, I love what Kaye said about innovating your way out of this situation. And I think innovation is going to be a huge thing here. We have been talking for ages about how we all use technology, and I have been blown away by the number of people in business who don't understand the technology yet. I guess because I've taken it for granted that I really did know how to do it. But even then, there are things that we had wanted to do, a bit like UK, for ages, as far as, you know, putting content online, or we're actually going to be doing a online conference, which is something that we've talked about for probably about the last 5 years, but this has encouraged us to go online and find the tools to do it, and to work out how we're going to do it. So what I would say is, you know, things that are tools that you think you maybe ought to be looking at, things like Trello, that are project management systems that people can all get into together, things like Zoom and Office Teams and all those things that you've thought about for ages but haven't maybe looked at. YouTube is a wonderful thing. There are tutorials over there on all this stuff, and don't tell me you don't do it, because I know you do. So those, I'm sorry, I know you said one, but those are my two things. A, the time boxing, so organising your time, and B, innovation and learning the technology. And
Lucy is a fountain of knowledge, so we're going to have her back for another show to talk specifically about other bits that are relevant to some of you guys, so that we can go into greater depth. I also love Asana, so I'll throw that in there. So Lucy's one is scheduling your diary, so important. David, what is your top tip for us? And Iona Thomas has said that you're a big advocate of cold showers.
She is right. That is my business partner and wife also. But yes, she witnesses every day me getting into a cold shower. And I do it for two reasons. Firstly, yeah, there are the benefits, as Daniella mentioned, of good for your immune system. I mean, it definitely wakes you up, which is a good thing. Because I think during this time, I've been really sure I know myself. And is much like Beth said, I know what my bad points are, and if given the choice, I will sleep. And it's my way of dealing, because nothing can hurt me when I'm asleep, and I just close everything out. And so if I have my own way, I'll get up at 11, 12, and then my day won't have ever properly started, so I won't ever get into anything, and then I'll drift back off, and then I'll sleep again at 4 o'clock, and I'll just get into a spiral. So it's been very important to get up, and one way to ensure that is to do the last thing you want to do, which is get into a cold shower. And I think that's the other reason why I do it, is because it gives me credibility with myself, and I know that I can do the hard things when I have to, and because that's just like a tiny, small, hard thing that you can do every day. But every time you have done it, it's a win. And you can go, yeah, I did something today. I had a cold shower. Everyone, most people will not put themselves through that discomfort, but I'm willing to do that. So that's why I do the cold showers. You're muted, Abigail. Abigail, you're muted.
Thank you. Are you recommending cold showers is the thing that we all need to do then?
That's not my thing, but I do recommend cold showers. I'm going to say for mine, to be brave. I think use this time to be brave, to try something that you haven't done, whether it's creatively, whether it's for business. I think, and this is a bit left field, but I had a debate with my business partner recently, and he was saying that TikTok was too young and was not a platform for us. So I did a little experiment, and in 1 month, I got 12,000 followers on TikTok.
Wow.
In the same month, the same content garnered 1,000 followers on Instagram. And so when you weigh up where your time's being spent, obviously, it's not all just about the vanity metric, and it's not all about the number. And if you're using social media for business, then you do have to try and to turn that into something. But you still have the opportunity to be early on TikTok. These are the last few weeks where you can still have that opportunity. I would say to anyone who thinks that they are too old for TikTok, you are not. It is aging up remarkably quickly. And as what happens with every single social media platform, Facebook started off just as kids in universities, and everyone said that they would never be on Facebook. And now their 60-year-old parents are on it. It's like TikTok is going to age up. It is already happening. And there's a huge opportunity to grow remarkably quickly, and not to join it in 6 months' time when they will have calm the algorithms down, because they're doing it now you will be seen, because they want you to be seen, because that's how the platform will grow. And so I would say, be brave, try something like that, go on the platform, see what works there, what doesn't work there, how could your content work on that platform or another platform that you haven't tried, and just try something new, because this is the time to experiment, because everyone says, I don't have enough time. But now you probably do have some time, even if it's just your commute has now been lost. That's an extra half an hour or an hour each end of your day. There's time to experiment. And I think it's only through these experiments that's where the creativity blossoms. I think this is such a beautiful time to try stuff. It might not work, but that's okay. Let's try it and see where it takes us. Be brave.
So we're all going to be getting on TikTok now. And I'm just like, oh no, because I got onto Periscope, and then I got onto Snapchat, then I got onto Instagram.
I do think TikTok's here to stay.
TikTok's here to stay. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because I invested hard in the other platforms. So
yeah, at David Speed UK, you can find me on there.
Okay, I'll find you. Right. Thank you. So we've got schedule, try something new. Kaye, I can't speak. Kaye, what is your top tip for us?
Well, it's really interesting about you say about TikTok, David, because I work with a parenting influencer in particular writer and blogger, and he's in his 40s, and he went on it because of some work we did. His girls went on it, his kind of preteen girls went on it, and he gets mad engagement about like it's an ongoing joke between me and his co-agent now. It's like he'll send us like, this is what I got 4,000 views on, and we'll be like, really? Like, but we just had you write a 500-word beautiful blog about the struggles of being the stay-at-home dad. No, TikTok. Also, amazingly, I used to be an EA, and I've just realised that I've followed Lucy's magazine since the beginning. Isn't that amazing? So my thing is to all the working parents out there, in particular the primary carers. I'm not going to say working mums, because you will have watched this and you'll be sitting there and you'll be feeling going, that's amazing. I can't do that, because what I've realised about it's all very well saying implement a structure or routine. I have an 8-year-old that does that for me. Like, it's not meant to be smug or anything, but I still have to get up. She's still, can I have porridge this morning, Mum? Oh, just have Rice Krispies. So I use the rule of 3 in my house. It's 3 of everything. So home, the way I keep the house looking like it's not a scene of neglect is after breakfast, after lunch, just before dinner, do a whiz round so you're not spending the whole day cleaning. Rule of 3 with my emails and my work. What are the 3 tasks that need doing immediately? If I can do those 3 tasks, either they're easy tasks and they're off my plate, they're going to get me some money, or they're moving my business forward. I have now put a limit on calls and Zooms and video chats and catch-ups or house parties or whatever you want. I've been doing calls, conference calls, video calls for as long as I can remember. Unless they have a purpose, and that purpose can be social, they're a waste of your time. Absolutely brutal. I've been on social video calls this week, which was lovely to see my friends. But like after an hour and a half, I was like, guys, I'm going to go. They were like, why? I was like, kind of done. We managed not to meet up for 8 months, so I'm sure we'll last another 2. So three calls or Zooms or whatever a day, because otherwise you will spend your whole day doing them. And unless they are getting you business, unless they are helping with your work, or unless they're keeping you sane, if that's what needs to keep you sane, fine. But rule of 3, try not to do more than 3 of anything. And yeah, so 3 major tasks. When you look at your inbox, 3 levels. Is it going to get me money in the next month? Is it going to step my business forward? Can it wait a week? Yeah, there we go. So that was my thing is, if you're a working parent, don't worry. We can't learn a language. We can stop them dying, hopefully keep them breeding and adding up, and keep our businesses ticking over, and maybe have some really good ideas in the meantime.
Amazing. Thank you. So Kaye is the rule of 3. Beth, what is your top tip for us?
But like Daniella, I also do transcendental meditation. I would say it's 2 things: meditate and breathe, because in times like this, I know that we find ourselves holding our breath. We don't even realize we're doing it. We hold it up high, and then we realize, I haven't taken a breath in like 5 minutes. And the minute we inhale and take a deep breath, it lets our brain know everything's going to be okay. And that's not woo-woo, that's science. It's your body saying, okay, everything is going to be okay. And right now, it's easy to panic. It's really easy to panic. All you have to do is think about what's going on. And like, I've watched lots of horror movies like this, and now I really wish that I had another favorite genre that's not horror, because my brain is going crazy. I'm like, why did I watch all those films? So it's meditate, breathe, and if you have a garden or a space to get outside and get away from the screen, because we can sit here to try and be connected to each other, to feel less alone, to learn things, to work, and forget that that it's not good for us. We have to get away from the screens. We can't live a virtual life. We can partially live a virtual life, but you have to, if you have a garden, sit in it, breathe, get away from the screen, try and like quiet your mind. If you don't, open a window, sit with the sun coming in. Otherwise, we're all going to be vitamin D deficient at the end of this. And just, breathe and get away from the screen and meditate.
Amazing. That is so cool. So breathe is your top tip.
Yeah.
Take some time out. Amazing. Thank you so much. And Daniella, your top tip for us, and then we'll round up with where we can find everybody and finish within the hour.
Hi. So I think my final tip would around productivity as well is thinking about where you can be of service to others. So I know David spoke a lot about the creativity and innovation. So where I do have downtime, I've now just launched a new initiative, Talk to Me Tuesdays, which will strictly be for key workers and single parent mothers to help them. So in that sense, I'm giving back. I suppose it's making me feel good, and it's just something that we might all be able to chip in and do, because there's been a great sense of community in the world actually up to at the moment. So yeah, other than the breathing, the meditation, thinking about how also can we be of service to others.
Amazing. Well, that's so lovely. So being of service to others and what you can do. So thank you so much for those of you who have joined us live, who will be watching on the replay. It was so awesome that these guys have made themselves available for us today. And I hope that you all will be able to reach out to them individually. So let's just do a quick fire round. Lucy, where can we find out about you? Where do you hang out most?
You can probably find out about me most at my website, which is www.executivesecretary.com. And there's lots and lots of articles on there that the executive assistants will find useful, I think, but also my contact details if anybody wants to contact me. But I will jump over onto LinkedIn straight after this. If there are
Amazing. So Lucy's executivesecretary.com. David, where are you?
I'm at David Speed UK across most platforms, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And my podcast is called Creative Rebels.
Amazing. Thank you. Kaye, where can we find you?
Me as a human being on LinkedIn, and then Andromeda Talent on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Do come and connect on there. Particularly, as I said, I'm trying to put out lovely content, so I'll try and entertain you.
Fantastic. Beth, where can we find out about you?
Probably easiest just to look me up by my name in a business sense, in my professional way, when I'm not cutting up and being silly, on LinkedIn, and then the silly stuff and band stuff on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Just look up my name.
Amazing. And Daniella, where do you hang out?
Hi, my main platform is LinkedIn. I do have a website, daniella.com, and I've just released, I think, 12 or 14 videos on YouTube around emotional health. They were pre-COVID, but they might be useful for people right now.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much to all of my guests for your time. Thank you for you joining, for your comments. And I look forward to seeing everybody again tomorrow at 11 when we have a remote working expert coming on the show to talk to us about her specific top tips. She's been teaching remote working and working with clients for over 14 years. So this will be a really good session tomorrow. If anybody would like to be a guest on one of these future panels, what I'm saying is watch the show and then DM me your 2 answers to the questions, and we'll see if we can get you onto the show. I think that we'll probably be doing this twice per month, but bear with me on that. Anyway, thank you. It's been so amazing to have everybody and to be with you, and I'll say goodbye now. So until the next time, stay safe, stay well, and don't forget to wash your hands.
Thanks, Abigail. Bye.
Bye.